in France? Did people relate to you as a representative of the Jewish state?
Well, one of the terms they use for Jews in France is Israélite. Ah, vous êtes Israélite. Not you're Jewish, but, oh, you're an Israelite. That's a French term that they use, which they consider to be a euphemism because they think that calling you a Jew is an insult.
Yeah.
So they say, ah, vous êtes Israélite, which kind of, answers your question a little bit. You're an appointed ambassador, whether you like it or not. But
Yeah.
did I get into arguments about Israel with my friends in France? No, I gave up. I really gave up trying because there's no way to win. In fact, that's just the way it is. People have their attitudes, whether you think Israel is a terrible, immoral regime that's oppressing Palestinians, or whether you think it's the only free country in the Middle East and that Arabs have a better life there than in the rest of the Middle East, and that if the Palestinians want peace, they can have it tomorrow. Whatever you think, however you see it, whatever lens you see it through, most people don't have the ability to see it through any other lens, and arguing just doesn't get you anywhere. So I learned that a long time ago.
Did other people have a need to talk to you about Israel? Like this was like a visceral subject on their heart and mind, and when they found, you, the Jew.
Well, people talked to me. It was funny because I had very close friends in France who would talk to me, about the Holocaust. The guy who invented the concept of denying the reality of the Holocaust was a French professor named Faurisson, and he was very kind of, people were talking about him back then as if he were something, credible. And so, people were talking about Chomsky and Faurisson, and, isn't it true that, we don't really know the truth about the Holocaust and all that stuff? And I didn't come to blows with anybody. I listened to what they said, and I contributed my opinion, and if it wrecked the friendship, so be it, but I didn't, I just kind of learned what the limits were, to effective communication. And the older I've gotten, even since then, the more I've tried to see things from multiple points of view and not to get very polarized. Although, this particular issue can polarize anybody.
Yeah, whether or not the Holocaust took place is a pretty polarizing issue.
Yeah, it is amazing and shocking to me that I would have dear friends, people who, claim to love me and have respect for me, who would hold on to these views that you would think would be informed by some kind of anti-Semitic bias. Holocaust denial, for example, or demonizing Israel, blaming Israel for everything that goes wrong in the world. You'd think that someone who would have those ideas would be an anti-Semite. But the reality is these are people, in some cases, whom I have been friends with, not just in France, but elsewhere, and learned to appreciate what's good about them and not just kind of dismiss them, even though I think some of their ideas are crazy.
Yeah. Do the French have a weakness for conspiracy theories? I seem to remember vaguely that the books denying 9/11 were very popular in France.
Yeah, that book was a #1 bestseller in France. The first book that came out saying that, I think they said it was a Jewish conspiracy or an Israeli conspiracy. That I don't know if they have a propensity to believe in conspiracy theories. I'd say yes, they do, probably more than Americans. But that book combined a lot of stuff. It combined, an inherited anti-Semitic filter through which all news is read, and then also a resentment of America that, has been building in France at least since World War II. When you get both of those elements together, you've got the makings of a bestseller. But,
have you found? Go ahead. Go ahead.
Again, you're talking about people. I have to say, the people who made that book into a bestseller, I don't know. I have a hard time thinking, that very educated people could buy it, but I don't know.
Have you found Jews, in your personal experience, believing in conspiracy theories?
Yes.
Really? Okay.
I mean, I find personally my feeling about what Jews believe and do and say, I think there are all kinds of Jews out there, and there are Jews who are pretty much have the same flaws as every other group in society. I mean, if you're talking about, religious Jews or, one particular group of Jews or another, maybe, you can narrow it. But there are crazy Jews out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you think in terms of happy ending for your book, or did that not even occur?
I showed it to a friend of mine, a very dear friend of mine, who's a big shot Hollywood screenwriter, and he just hated the ending. And so I had to put, I don't want to give away the ending in case somebody listens to this interview. But no, I didn't even take that comment seriously. First of all, I was guided by history, by what really happened. My book, I try not to depart from history. Where there is a historical record, I want to be true to it. So it was just far-fetched way, to make the ending a happy ending would not have been believable in the context.
Yeah. Okay, hang on. Go ahead.
That's something that William Styron told me at the very, very beginning of my career. Was he thought authenticity is the most important thing.